Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International. It's now time for our second topic of discussion for today. And as we noted in our introduction, we're going to be shedding the light on the latest exhibition entitled Journey of Money, hosted by the Museum of Islamic Art and the Museum of Islamic Art in Cairo in cooperation with the Center of Calligraphy Studies at the Biblioteca Alexandrina, and the Cairo Mint Treasury hosts an exhibition entitled Journey of Money in Egypt Through the Ages. The exhibition launches on the 23rd of September and runs until the 3rd of October. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Yehya Abdul Qader, Tourism Counselor. A very good morning, Mr. Yehya.
Morning, Mr. Kareem. How are you?
All good. Thank you so much. Mr. Yehya, first of all, we need to learn more about the Museum of the Islamic Art in Cairo, its history, departments, acquisitions, and so on and so forth. If you can shed the light.
Well, actually, the Museum of Islamic Art and Civilization, is one of the earliest established museums in Egypt since 1902. It houses a collection of 100,000 artifacts and objects that highlight the Egyptian Islamic art, culture, and heritage. But only 4,500 artifacts of objects are shown, displayed to the public. And really it's made of very precious material, like they're made of silver, copper, wood, glass, leather, and there's a unique collection of textiles, ceramics, coins, and rare manuscripts as well.
Mr. Yehya, if you can tell us also more about the idea of the exhibition and tell us more about the very long journey of money in Egypt.
Well, actually, this is a very interesting, part of the Egyptian, civilization and culture. Because ancient Egyptian, they didn't use coins and notes and bill for the trading. They used to exchange commodities, goods, and services. But when trading with foreign land, the famous, land of Pont, of Queen Hatshepsut and Phoenicia, current-day Lebanon, getting the cedar woods to build ships in Egypt, and trading with Cyprus to get copper, and trading with Greece to get oil, and packages. They used to trade in gold. But, since the Ptolemies, we started having, coins, and remember that we have even coins of Queen Cleopatra, and the Ptolemies, 8 of them. There was 11 Cleopatras as well. So we have a display during this exhibit and symposium of coins that date back to the Ptolemies, Romans, Byzantine, and then part of it belongs to the Islamic dynasties, of Umayyad and Abbasi Caliphate. That was Egypt, part of the Caliphate of the time.
Mr. Yehya, why are the Egyptian coins considered a pictorial record of the development of the arts of calligraphy and writing in Egypt?
Well, really, if you follow, for example, money, coins, or music, or food, fashion, or art, any, human activities, you can trace, and have an idea, and evaluate the development and the rise and fall of civilization and cultures. For example, Egypt was under the Abbasid Caliphate, but since Ahmed ibn Tulun became independent, so Egypt, for the first time, started minting its own coins, and he was followed by Rashid, then the Fatimiyya, then the Ayyubi, then the Mamelukes, then the Ottoman, then the Muhammad Ali dynasty, then the Republic. So you can imagine the multitude, we have an extensive history of 2,500 years since the Ptolemies ruled for 300 years, and they coined, money, gold, drachmas, in their names and images to be, circulated during the rule and dynasty.
Mr. Yehya, also as part of the activities of the exhibition, a symposium was held which brought together a group of distinguished researchers in the field of history, of coins and Islamic arts. How do you see the importance of this symposium that was held on the sidelines, that is held on the sidelines of the exhibition?
Well, really, this is, very prestigious event. It is started yesterday, and it will go all the way till the 3rd of October. And this is sponsored by the Museum of Islamic Art, jointly by the Mint Authority of Egypt and the Bibliotheca Alexandrina Calligraphy Center. There is going to be, there is leading professors from Cairo and Shams University and other experts from the Mint Authority that are going to be conducting the symposium that will be attended, by curators of museums, by scholars, by researchers, by travel writers, by professional magazines and archaeology magazines, nationwide.
Yes. Also another question for you, sir, if you may. How would this exhibition and similar exhibitions help in promoting tourism in Egypt and attracting more tourists in the country?
Well, really, this is a very effective, event managed, by the Museum of Islamic Art. It's going to be on for two weeks, and I viewed the site, on the media networks, so this type, with specific events, of interest, there are lots of museums worldwide and collectors and fans and professionals who like to attend, collect the coins, its history, develop its catalog. So I like to add that the museum has to, announce it 6 months before, the event takes place. And I'm interested that the Arab League, cultural arms, of it will invite, other countries. We have 23 countries now which share with us, common history, because some of the other countries used to make their, money here in Egypt. So this is part of our cultural heritage. And as well, the Bibliotheca Alexandrina is part of the Mediterranean. So we need to invite countries that we used to trade with, like Phoenicia, like Greece, like Cyprus. And on an international scale as well, this is going to attract scholars and historians and travel writers to come visit Egypt and cover it, as a very prestigious media.
Mr. Yehya, what about the status quo of the tourism industry in Egypt?
Well, thank God, alhamdulillah, we are faring so well, you just reviewed the economy and the fortune, revelation and the World Bank that Egypt, served so well as the fourth country worldwide that coped, with the pandemic. And we were one of the early destinations worldwide to open our resorts on the Red Sea and the Mediterranean to visitors. So currently, thank God, we have Russian tours are coming back to Qader and Sharm el-Sheikh. We have over 40, flights per week. We have German tours are coming back to Marsa Alam. We have Britain is including, travel to Egypt is safe and sound. We have Swiss visitors to Marsa Alam and Qader as well. So, and even we have tours from Uzbekistan who's going to Marsa Matruh, regularly. And we have Romanian groups as well. So international tourism is doing well in Egypt, especially Arab travel. Last August, we received 100,000 visitors from Saudi Arabia. This is only one country, great country to Egypt. So travel is doing well, and Egypt Air is launching hundreds of flights a day to cover its world, local, and regional destinations.
Mr. Yehya, when do you expect to have the numbers or the influx of tourists in Egypt in comparison to the pre-COVID era?
Well, really, we are on the right track. As we say that this is due to the policy of the government that we follow the regulations of the WHO in Geneva, the IATA, and Montreal, and that's why our hotels and staff is being immunized and vaccinated. So Egypt medically is a safe haven, That's why, all international airports are, flying directly to Cairo and Sharm el-Sheikh and Alexandria. Around 30 international airports now. So I mean, I would consider we'll have a good season this winter, inshallah, and then by early 2022, we are going to gain, the inflows that we used to experience prior to COVID, inshallah.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Yehya Addul, tourism counselor, we really appreciate your insight and thank you so much for joining us on The Breakfast Show. And dear viewers, by this, we come to the end of today's episode of The Breakfast Show. Just a quick recap of what we discussed. We talked about the automotive industry in Egypt, and we also talked about an exhibition entitled The Journey of Money in Egypt. And dear viewers, you're in the company of myself and my colleague, Addul. Until we meet again, this is goodbye.